It's episode 5, everybody, coming at you not quite live from Lawrence, Kansas. It's the Film Dudes podcast. I just realized it's episode 5, but anyway, let's get into it. Landon and Joe, what have you guys been up to?
Oh, I don't know, studying.
Yeah, for your
Uh,
doctors.
Well, right now I'm still doing my master's, but yeah, it's pretty intense.
wow.
How goes the library, Joe?
Oh gosh. Uh, well, apparently now I'm the grumpy librarian. Yeah, my
It was
coworker
bound to
was in a
happen.
class on Monday night, and he overheard somebody talking about how she was checking out a laptop, but she had to deal with a grumpy librarian. So I guess that's my official title now.
Joe, the disgruntled librarian.
That's
I mean,
the
I can live
latest
with
film
it.
to be produced by the three of us, I suppose.
I'd watch
I mean,
it.
I mean, that'd be like giving Squidward his own movie, you know?
Oh, God. Yeah. Well, speaking of disgruntled people, I guess I'd be the disgruntled film critic after watching The Devil All the Time with Tom Holland. Um, and having slept on it now, I gotta say I feel a little bit sorry for the crew and cast members because my review of it honestly involves chopping off the first hour. Um, and saying you could get by without having seen most of what happens in the first hour. Uh, and if you were to like realize how long it's taken us to do student projects that are like 5 to 10 minutes long, it takes us quite a while to do that stuff. And so for a professional crew with even more people, it probably would have taken them a solid month of like non-stop filming if you were to like convert all the hours into like consecutive chronological shoots. It would have taken such a long time for them to do an hour's worth. And so, yeah. Um, oh, yeah, by the way, it's raining and thundering a lot. But if if you were to. Well, you guys did read the Wikipedia article I sent you, kind of. And the critics gave it, like, at best, a moderate review. Um, Nothing terrible, but nothing great either. I mean, Tom Holland is a pretty decent actor still, having survived through that, and it has to be something to do with COVID, I would imagine. But yeah, um, I'll take Independence Disaster over The Devil all the time.
Oh,
That's my
geez.
take.
Oh, that's bad.
I'm
That's
gonna call
horrible.
BS on this. I really am.
Have you seen it then?
I'm going to go out and read the book first because I've been meaning to read the book first and then see the movie.
Man,
But
I gotta
I'm
warn you.
just gonna say from uh, having read uh, not this book, but another one by the same author, he has quite a love of characters and obviously weird people and getting in their heads. So a lot of the text is in their head and that affects the action. And so that's kind of hard to do when you're adapting something.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is that it felt really weird that every now and then you had the actual author of the book that the film was based off of. He would jump in and like narrate the film almost as if he was just reading straight out of his own book because there's one time when Tom Holland playing the character Arvin says something and the narrator chimes in and goes, says Arvin as he walked back to his car, and it's like, well, no shit, we can see that.
But and I think this is definitely the kind of movie that not everybody's gonna like
Yeah.
because not everybody's tuned to the sort of. I mean, I don't know if I really want to call it Southern because he's from Southern Ohio, so I don't know if geographically you want to count that as Southern.
Yeah, it's very tricky because um, it's definitely north, but West Virginia is included in the story, and they are apparently very backwards there. And I've been to West Virginia.
Well, and my thing is, this so the stories are very much about people who aren't in the cities, rural people, which I would count myself as. Um, but people who are um, very screwed up. Let's put it that way. But
Yeah.
very interesting and colorful, you know, actually making very creative, you know.
Yeah.
My my biggest thing is really you want to compare it to something called Independence Disaster. I think that might be going a bit too far.
I mean, probably, yes, but it's one of those things where I saw a film I knew would be bad and went into it with a kind of closed mind, knowing what it would probably be, and I came out thinking it was even worse. The Devil All the Time, I had a pretty open mind because I'd seen people talking about it on like Twitter and stuff, and it's like, oh, it's a Tom Holland movie. He's pretty good, I guess, from I've only seen him in like Avengers stuff, but he's entertaining enough. I had no idea what the film was about. So I was like, okay, sure, I'll just dive into this. And I mean, you don't even get Tom Holland until halfway through.
Yeah, like I said, it's Donald Ray Pollock really loves characters. He just has so many of them in one novel.
Yeah, and that was kind of the other thing. It was like I have no idea who's who at a certain point.
Yeah.
It almost I think it would do better if it were adapted into like a TV series because there's a lot of explaining that needs to be done to get to certain places. So, I'm giving it the opportunity to like redeem itself, I guess, if it were to be remade as a series. I'd give it a shot.
I gotta ask, could you understand Robert Pattinson?
Uh, who'd he play?
He was like a preacher, I think.
Oh, are we talking about the guy who was from Twilight?
Yes,
Yes,
that's
I just
Robert
didn't want
Pattinson.
to say that because I want to
Yeah.
let him
Didn't
get
want to
on with
plug
his life.
Twilight.
Oh my god, when I saw him, I was like, wait a second, isn't he. Oh god, it's this kind of movie. Okay. Um, yeah, he was fine. Everyone was just like a touch too creepy. Um, and went into their roles like a little too well. But that's the other thing is like the husband wife serial killer duo that shows up throughout the film. It's like we don't really need them. I guess it connects to the ending, but like you don't need some of the characters that are in there. I don't know. I don't know. I think if I were to enjoy it, I would want to see it as a series. That's my take on it.
Landon, what have you been watching recently?
Oh, wow. Well, let's see. I've been keeping up with the Lovecraft. That's really interesting stuff. Um, oh, okay. And then what else have I watched? The last like Monday, I watched The Man with Eugene Levy and Samuel L. Jackson. And that was a fun movie. I mean, it wasn't anything spectacular or, wonderful, but it was entertaining. And then I've recently started watching Raised by Wolves on HBO Max, and that's I don't know. To me, I feel like it's missing like a key component that would make it great, but it's still pretty good. I would really recommend that to people to watch. Maybe they'll enjoy it. But what else? I've revisited a few movies. I watched Beetlejuice the other day,
Yeah, you were talking
and
about how Jack Skellington shows up in like so many films that we don't even know.
yeah, Tim Burton actually like has an Easter egg or a Jack Skellington cameo in a lot of films, and it's crazy how much Jack Skellington shows up. Um, yeah, like if you watch Tim Burton, just keep an eye out, and maybe you'll see one. But as far as Beetlejuice goes, it's Jack Skellington's head is on the top of Beetlejuice's hat when he pops out of the table to do the carousel thing and has those hammer arms or whatever they're called.
Oh yeah.
So next time you watch that, just keep an eye out on that.
Man, I've seen
And
Beetlejuice hundreds of times, maybe not that much, but enough to know like the storyline almost front to back, and I do not remember that scene that you showed us.
you don't
I
remember
remember
that
the scene, I
scene?
just never noticed the detail.
It's when they're doing the seance, and you know, Alec Baldwin
Gina
and
Davis.
yeah, Gina Davis, come out. They like disappear, and then they like rise out, and Otho is doing the seance, and the rise again.
Yeah, I kind of remember that, but I just don't remember Beetlejuice,
Yeah,
like
and then they
his
start
direct role.
decomposing. They're like floating there, they're decomposing, and then all of a sudden, Beetlejuice comes out of the model, and he's like, "Step right up, let's do the like a carny, and it's yeah. When he's coming up, you can see Jack Skellington on the top of his hat.
Yeah.
And what was that, like 15 years prior to?
To actual Nightmare Before Christmas or Halloween,
Yeah,
whatever. But yeah,
yeah. So that was really interesting. And then what else have I been doing? Uh, oh yeah, I don't know why I missed it in the spring, but there's a new Cosmos.
with Neil
With,
deGrasse Tyson.
yeah, with Neil deGrasse Tyson, but it's not the one that came out like years ago or a few years back. It's actually like an addition to it, and it's a different uh, theme, but at the same time, it's yeah. But we found that on I think it airs on Tuesdays. I'm not sure what channel it's on, but it's actually, of course, really good because of course it's the Cosmos and Neil deGrasse Tyson. So
I would
I would
imagine
recommend.
something along the lines of like Discovery Channel or like Nat Geo, even something like that.
No, I think it's on your basic channels, either NBC, Fox, something like that.
Oh wow.
But yeah, we actually let the girls stay up late because it went until 9. And they have it like split up where it's like a 2-hour section, but they have like episodes that are or two episodes that are bunched together, so it'll do like one episode and then the next episode.
Uh,
And yeah, Yeah, we let the girls stay up because Penelope, when she was a baby, we actually watched the first one, and she was really into it. Well, maybe a toddler, not a baby, but yeah, it's like from 7 to 9. I don't remember the channel, but it's really good, and we really enjoyed that.
Cool. I'll have to look for it.
Yeah, yeah, and then of course I've revisited Assassination of a High School President, one of my all-time favorite movies ever, and then I revisited Split by M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, yeah. By far, my personal opinion is that it's the best out of that entire
I
trilogy.
still need to watch Glass or whatever that one was.
I have it. Well, it's on my Amazon Prime account. I have the digital version, so
And I guess the first one I need to watch as well.
well, I had that one too. So
So I
if you
guess I've
ever
only
want to
seen
do,
Split.
yeah, if you ever want to do a binge of the trilogy, come on over and we'll do that.
That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to.
Well, Joe, got anything to top that?
To top that, I don't know if I can top that.
Well, it's not a
Um,
competition.
It's
Just give
always
us what you got.
competition.
Give us the goods.
yeah, well, oh, let me think. I don't think I've watched any bad movies recently. They've all been either really decent or very good. The Casino Royale with Daniel Craig, I watched that because I read the book, so I wanted to see how it held up. Um, then I watched Shutter Island, uh, Red River, Anatomy of a Murderer. Um, they, oh, and A Night at the Opera, which is a Marx Brothers movie.
Wow. Yeah, they're pretty good. Classics.
Um, and I would say out of all those, the one I would probably watch again would be Shutter Island. So
Really?
yeah, I mean they were all good movies. It's just if any one of those I'd watch again to see to pick up on something I might have missed the first time, it would definitely be Shutter Island.
I have that movie, but I've never actually gotten around to watching it. It's definitely on my radar, though.
Yeah, well, when it opened up, I like the first 5-10 minutes. I kind of worried that it would be something like uh, The Shining, and I'm not uh, hammering down on The Shining or anything. It's just, oh, well, it's probably going to be. And then the more the movie kept going, I thought, okay, it's one of these two options. And um, I think I was happily convinced otherwise. Um, and the ending I thought was just the way it should be. So,
Pretty good review. I'll definitely have to get around to watching it next week then.
yeah. So, and, I'm a Scorsese fan. So,
Wait, was that
uh,
done by Scorsese?
yeah,
Damn. It's got
yeah.
DiCaprio in it, right?
Yeah, it's got DiCaprio and a bunch of good actors. Mark Ruffalo,
Wow.
Christopher Paul. Is it Christopher Plummer? No, not Christopher Plummer. Jeez. Uh, Max von Sydow, the late Max von Sydow, I guess. And everybody's favorite Gandhi, Ben Kingsley. So
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, um, definitely worth checking out. Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess out of all those though, um, Anatomy of a Murder was uh, interesting um, because it's definitely the kind of movie. If you showed it to a class of film students like we went to school with, I definitely think this movie would be a hotbed of discussion.
Interesting. Um,
Uh,
it sounds like what I've heard the description of "Don't fuck with cats."
That
excuse me.
title reminds me of a book called Why Paint Cats.
There's a Netflix, I don't know if it's a movie or a series, but it like gets into how this guy was like killing cats or something. I've only heard about it. I still kind of want to
Yeah,
watch it.
that documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like this huge backlash because this guy would, like kill cats or something. And I haven't seen it, but I saw the trailer and I kind of looked into it a little bit, but yeah, it's just all these people who like went crazy over the fact that this guy killed cats and they're like trying to investigate and figure out who this guy is so that way, he can be uh, you know, punished through the judicial system or something. But yeah, like a bunch of people get together and like try to like figure out who this guy is, and it's a documentary about that.
Okay, I might have to watch it. No, I think I don't think I'm gonna give anything away. This movie's been around since the 60s. 50s or 60s, I don't know.
Oh dang.
But Anatomy of a Murder is about a lawyer played by good old Jimmy Stewart who uh, represents a lieutenant in the army who is charged with killing a guy, and he killed the guy because supposedly the guy uh, beat and raped the lieutenant's wife. Um, and there's no denying that he killed the guy. He did it in plain sight, uh, shot the guy 5 times. So it becomes a matter of trying to uh, convince the jury um, that it was reasonable because of irresistible impulse to commit the murder.
So it's almost
Um,
like a revenge story, I guess.
well, because well, in the first few minutes, it's like the lieutenant says, "Well, I had an excuse. He beat and raped my wife," and the lawyer says, "Well, no, not really." And he's like, "What do you mean, not really? It's kind of an unwritten law." And he's like, "Well, you can't really go to court on an unwritten law." Um, but um, I think the thing that would definitely get people um, would make people feel uneasy is because obviously there are several times where they bring up the wife's behavior and her dress and so forth. And yeah, that definitely would not fly today.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a good movie, but there were a lot of times where it's like nobody in this movie is a squeaky clean character by any stretch of the imagination.
Ah,
Yeah. So I mean, it's worth checking out. Um, Night at the Opera. It was funny, but it's not my favorite Marx Brothers movie. I'd still have to go with Duck Soup.
I can't remember which one I saw. I know I've seen Duck Soup, but there is another one where they're like stowaways on a ship. That one was pretty funny.
Well, that is in Night at the Opera. They, or at least two of the Marx Brothers are, and
Monkey
some
Business. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Monkey Business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going back to a couple weeks ago, maybe it was just last week when I maybe didn't say it on the podcast, but you guys know my sort of long standing, I guess, annoyance of Matthew McConaughey. Um,
Yeah, we know about it.
Yeah.
I challenged myself and watched Contact. I don't know if I mentioned this in the last episode, so bear with
Oh yeah.
me. If you've already heard it, go ahead and skip forward probably like 10 minutes. um, but that was actually really good. Although the main reason for it was probably because Matthew McConaughey wasn't in a whole lot of it, but it was actually a very, very good film that was made um, 90s, I think. Anyway, it was basically like traveling to another dimension um, via instructions from like an alien race. Uh, I love movies like that, and I watched this other one. Um, I think it was called Cosmos, or maybe it was also called Contact. It's like three British guys in a car, uh, listening to the watering hole frequency. Look that up, and you'll probably stumble across the movie. And the Arecibo message is mentioned a lot, and that's how they like contact uh, Earth in this other one that I can't remember the name of. But yeah, anyway, Matthew McConaughey wasn't really in it that much, but he's second billing, so I guess you can call it a Matthew McConaughey film. But it was pretty well made. Um, so yeah.
Yeah. I I guess maybe you want to expound on why you don't. What's the
Like
right?
Matthew McConaughey.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't in
Right.
Contact, but in what was it that I watched? Interstellar. Oh boy,
Oh
that's a film.
yeah.
Man, he just like mumbled his lines like throughout the entire film pretty much in Interstellar. And that's probably where my annoyance of him comes from. Is just like also his Lincoln commercials that he does. It's just like what the fuck is this? You're trying to sell a car and here he is like playing pool or ice fishing and we like rarely see the car. It's like I guess, but no. I guess I'm just annoyed with him. I don't like hate him, but he does
Is
things
it
that are just like why?
so? Is it more like yeah? I mean, Interstellar, from what I've heard of it, or like the snippets of it I've seen, I I still don't understand what that movie was about, I guess.
The first half, unlike The Devil All the Time, it's like you could reverse these. In Interstellar, the first half is pretty good. It seems like they really did as much research as possible in whatever science they mentioned, and then it all just goes flying out the fucking window in the second half of the film because it's like, okay. The whole love transcends all time line that he somehow figures out. It's just an absolute, like, it turned my mind to mush.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I remember that I've seen it, but I don't remember actually watching it in in great depth.
Out of body experience.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I know that I've seen it, and I kind of know what it's about, and I can hit the key points. He was on Earth, and then he went into outer space, and then there was like that thing with the gravitational black hole thing, and
Yeah, and then he's like somehow behind the bookshelf and whatever. It's, yeah, the whole time travel thing. Some films are pretty good with time travel. Hell, even like Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, one of those two had like decent enough explanation of time travel, but Interstellar was just like, okay, have you ever heard of Einstein or Hawking? Maybe look them up before you write another screenplay, whoever was involved with Interstellar.
I mean, I like McConaughey either because I think he's a good actor or he's funny. Um, I really loved him in True Detective, so
oh yes, that was to me like the first season of True Detective was phenomenal.
oh yeah.
And the second season was not as good, but the third season was actually pretty good too.
I've heard the second season wasn't good. I know people complain about Vince Vaughn, but I'm like, well, maybe Vince Vaughn doesn't want to be comedy all his life, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't
I
want
mean,
to be
I'm not gonna knock Vince Vaughn or Colin Farrell for their roles in the second season, but I just think that it was not as captivating, not as and I think a lot of that had to do with the writing for
yeah.
that.
Um,
But yeah, then they stepped it back up with the third season.
I think what was really good about the first season was that apart from the how they constructed uh, the flashback, flash forward, present day, and whatever.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it was also what was really good about the first season was that it was going into the dark and you see all these terrible freaking things and you know McConaughey's character is going on about his philosophy of pessimism. But once you get to the end, where they're outside the hospital and he's like, yeah, there's darkness, but light's winning, man. I
yeah,
mean, that, why the hell do we still talk about movies like, I don't know, Seven? You know, they're just full of all this horrible stuff, but at the end, it's like the world is worth fighting for?
yeah,
So, yeah, I'll have to check out season two and three, see how they hold up.
yeah. But of course, I mean, season one was so great that I think that maybe it was just like, how do we top season one? And they didn't even try to top it. They're just like, okay, well, let's make another season. Or maybe they, fumbled it on purpose. That way they could make a great third season. Who knows? But
And
but yeah, I mean, season two was okay, but it wasn't, as good as season one. But then they stepped it back up for season three.
I think
And
my
then,
main problem with McConaughey is just that, like, I enjoy him when he's like unintentionally funny in very subtle ways, but then he just has like really weird lines sometimes, and that's not his fault unless of course he like goes way off script and ad libs, but like just the way he reads them sometimes it's just like weird. I don't know how to describe it.
That reminds me of the Alamo, where he's like, you know what, Buck? Sometimes it's just the way you say things.
Wait. What? Which movie?
The Alamo.
Was he
Let
in
me.
the Alamo?
No, but yeah. Anytime that people. I don't know. I quote that line a lot, and it's from the Alamo because sometimes it's just the way that you say things that makes you off-putting or something. And
Oh, wait. Okay. I think I know what you're talking. Okay, I gotcha.
yeah, and it's
I
in
have to
the
think. I haven't seen that movie in a couple of years.
yeah, and it's the 2004 version.
Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton. No.
Yeah, and it's oh, what's his face? He was in The Lost Boys.
Oh,
Jason Patrick
Jason
plays
Patrick.
James. Yeah, plays James Bowie,
Yeah.
and he says it to Patrick Wilson's character, William Travis. He's like, you know what, Buck? Sometimes it's just the way you say things.
That's
But
fair.
yeah, but I don't know that Stewart's distaste for Matthew McConaughey and the way that he just described it now made me think of that. Um,
I don't know. The fact that what was it? Did he go to Texas and he's like now a film professor or something that happened last year?
Yeah, he's at Austin.
I think I'd like to meet him just to like see his personal side a bit and like understand him a little bit better. I'm at least open to that and not just completely shutting him out like say Tommy Wiseau.
I don't know. I'd be willing to meet Tommy Wiseau or Wiseau or whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah, I think yeah, never mind. That was a terrible comparison because he is certainly an interesting person.
Yeah, I would like to buy him a drink and just pick his brain a little bit, but who moved to Austin? Was it
McConaughey.
McConaughey? Oh, he's teaching film.
Yeah.
I mean, last
Oh,
I knew, yeah. Um, I think, yeah, it's Austin. I mean, they have a good film program around Austin, so that's probably why I'm thinking Austin.
yeah. I mean, we can do more research on that and figure that out, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
but I mean,
I would like to meet Matthew McConaughey, and I'd like to pick his brain too. Not as
I,
much as Wiseau or Wiseau, but
yeah, but I think you'd probably have McConaughey'd probably be more open. Wiseau, it sounds like he's very, very, very secretive about himself. So
yeah. I
What about
mean, the big
motorcycle?
thing I want to ask McConaughey is that if he really enjoys Lincolns.
Which one do you like better, ice fishing or pool?
Are you a Ford or Chevy man?
Well, sometimes I just gotta get into my truck and drive down to the lake, frozen over in the winter, and just dig a hole and sit in the back of my Lincoln.
I don't know.
do you
I
have
think
you do
deep
drugs
down
every day?
McConaughey's more of a Ford guy. But that's me. That's my opinion. Matthew, if you're listening to this, please confirm. Let me know. I don't know. Join our podcast, maybe. I don't know.
Send us a message. We will never hear from him though.
Well, I don't know. You guys ever watched the Impractical Jokers dinner party?
No.
I've seen a few episodes of Impractical Jokers, but I haven't really. I don't know. I can't get behind it.
Really?
I can, maybe because I'm such a, they make me laugh, whatever they do. But anyways, they had Jeff Daniels on, because they're big fans of him, and Q started talking about how Jeff did To Kill a Mockingbird on Broadway, and they loved him so much in it, but then Ed Harris took over the part, and Q was saying how he was really mad at Ed Harris, and he gave Ed Harris the stink eye one night. So the guys are like, okay, so we're all gonna say fuck Ed Harris, and like, might have been a couple of episodes later, Ed Harris came on the show,
Oh my god.
and so they're like, okay, so now we're gonna say fuck Jeff Daniels, right? So apparently that's how you get people on your show. You
Is you
insult
shit
them and
talking?
they have to come on.
Well, I just had a revelation. They say two wrongs don't make a right, but in this case, I think actually if you put Matthew McConaughey in The Devil All the Time, it would have made for a far more interesting film.
Gosh.
Matthew McConaughey eats turds.
What?
You gonna get on their show or what?
Oh my god.
Okay, now he has to come on and defend himself. This is how they're
Yeah,
going.
I don't know. I'd be willing to have Ed Harris too. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I love his work. I mean, I hate it, but whatever gets him on, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's see, we've got Samuel L. Jackson's a real piece of shit. Tommy Wiseau can go fuck himself. Matthew McConaughey, your acting's terrible. Who else are we targeting in this episode?
Then
Let's hit Nick Cage.
I don't know. I
Oh
think
gee.
anything you say about him is just a fact, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to have him on the show.
Well, we should pay him a compliment. I'm sure it's been a while since he's gotten one of those.
Ghost Rider 2 was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm lining up my ass.
I love your hair. And Con Air.
Yeah, okay, you
Oh,
can't go
gosh.
wrong with that.
Oh, if I could only forget that piece of shit. I mean, funny and entertaining, but a piece of shit.
Yeah, I honestly believe that is like John Malkovich's worst film ever.
Oh,
Are
his
you saying that to
worst?
get John Malkovich on the show? Or
No,
actually.
I
no,
would
honestly,
love to
I
have
think
John
Con Air was
Malkovich
like the
on the
worst
show.
film that John Malkovich ever did.
Dang.
I mean, I like me some John Malkovich, but yeah, as far as his character, it was flat on Con Air.
Really? You'd rather watch Wicker Man than Con Air?
I've never seen Wicker Man, so yeah, I'm
Oh
willing to
boy,
give
you
it a shot.
are really missing out then.
Well, I
But
feel like you. Isn't there a trailer out there? It's one of those if Wicker Man was a comedy or whatever kind
Oh
of
god.
trailers. And it's basically just Nick Cage running around beating up women and scaring people, which is what the movie is, let's be honest.
Oh jeez.
I mean, it's not what they wanted to do, but that's how it turned out.
don't spoil it.
I really don't think there's much else you could say that would redeem the movie or give anything away because it's
I mean,
basically
it
Nick
is a
Cage runs
remake,
around beating up
so
women.
yeah.
I'd like to see that.
That's the selling point.
I mean, I don't condone beating up women, but just watching Nick Cage beat up women.
Oh god.
I can't say that I would enjoy seeing that, but I'm curious now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, somebody says something. If somebody describes a movie like that, you kind of have to go see it.
Yeah. Oh, Nick Cage just beats up a bunch of women. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then,
in. 2 tickets, please.
and I
I
want the
mean,
big popcorn.
what?
I said I want the big popcorn.
I mean, has there been a movie where it just sounded so ridiculous that you had to go see it?
Somebody try to piece together the plot of The Room and tell it in a coherent sentence. Go.
Uh, it's about friendship and loyalty, honesty. But its delivery is just so god awful that you have to really experience it in order to respect and understand the fact that we all live in a world of love.
So
I
anyway,
was,
how's your sex life?
yeah, that was
Oh,
my
hi,
idea. It's
man.
how's your sex life? I mean, that's the whole point of the movie. It's like everybody's sex life is on under a microscope.
I guess I could sum it up in like one question that would get people to want to watch it. Do you want to learn how to play football
Oh
in
god.
a 5 foot
Play football
squared
in your
space?
tuxedo.
Yeah. But you always play psychiatrist with us. He is a psychiatrist, damn it.
Did you guys ever see The Disaster Artist?
Yep.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
actually pretty good.
Yeah.
What
I,
is
I, I
wrong?
do love Tommy's cameo in it, though.
Wait, what was his cameo?
You didn't see the. It was at the end of the movie. He's
Yeah.
like, "You talk funny. Where you from?" Or that was
Oh my god.
and he's like, "I don't know. Where you from?" Or I don't remember the exact lines, but yeah, Tommy Wiseau actually made a cameo in The Disaster Artist.
I need to look that up on
It was
YouTube now.
perfect too.
Of course, he didn't have his long hair, but and I
Yeah,
think he
well,
also had a beard or goatee or
yeah, he had a
something.
mustache or
Oh
something.
god.
Yeah. But I mean, isn't isn't there a movie that's ever sounded so ridiculous that you just have to go see it?
I think that's like almost every movie I watch these days.
Why? I guess okay, before you went to film school. Let's put it that way. Before you went to film.
Uh,
Well, I did that before I went to film school too. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I've always
Okay,
been a
so let's put it this
trashophile.
way. There was a movie at the movie theater and you were just going to the movie theater and it's like, okay, what am I going to watch? Well, you look at the list of stuff and it's like, okay, this one looks really ridiculous, so why
Am I alone or do I have people with me?
not? Either or.
Uh, well, I don't know. I guess it depends on who's there with me because I try to be considerate and go, oh, well, this person wouldn't like that film, so I'll
oh,
see them in
okay,
my
I
own.
got one. Team America World Police.
Oh, how about Beer Fest?
I've never heard of that.
Oh, you have never. Okay, wow.
You've never heard of Beer Fest?
No.
What the hell is wrong with you, man?
He's got a lot wrong with him. We're gonna have
It's a
to take him
Broken
out.
Lizard film.
Oh man, there's a lot
They
of
did,
films that I apparently
they
need
did,
to watch.
yeah, they did Super Troopers, Broken Lizard. They also did
Yeah.
Club Dread and a bunch of other things. But Beer Fest, yeah, I would totally see that in theaters, even though it's like a ridiculous, crappy film. But well, not crappy. It's like so crappy, it's good.
It's basically their kind of. I would have to say the most ridiculous thing I saw in theaters before I went to film school was Age of Rock, or not Rock of Ages.
Yeah, Rock of It, the one with Tom Cruise.
Yeah. And like this
Yeah.
movie looks so bad, but it's like, why not? Well, it
It
probably
had a
also
good
helped that it was on a
soundtrack.
day too. So. But actually, it turned out to be quite good and really hilarious. Um,
It had a really good soundtrack. I enjoyed
oh
it.
yeah, the soundtrack was great. And the theater died when you realize that Alec Baldwin and Russell Brand's characters are gay for each other, and they start singing "I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore."
Oh god.
I knew this guy. He had gone to the bathroom and he came back. He was standing right in the aisle when the song started, and he just stopped and stared at the screen like, "Oh my gosh, what have I walked into?" It was hilarious.
Oh man. Okay, I got another one. What about Space Jam? Like everyone loves it, kind of, but I bet you back when it first came out, everyone was like, "What the fuck is Michael Jordan doing?"
No, no, that's not exactly the reaction that they had because I remember I was there. I saw.
Thanks, Granddad.
I
No,
mean, I go
everybody
back
thought it
and
was
read the reviews,
absolutely
and it sounded like
amazing.
a lot of people loved
Yeah, well, I mean, they're like, oh, it's Michael Jordan. He's not an actor. That's okay. But yeah, everybody loves Space Jam.
It is
Or
pretty
maybe
it.
I'm
good.
deflecting. I loved Space Jam when it first came out. I was like somewhere in between 10 to 12 years old. It was great. No, I was in middle school. I was like seventh grade. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we had the VHS tape, back when those things still existed.
Yeah.
Uh, and we would constantly watch that movie. And oh my gosh, I'll still put it in, or it's on TV, and I will watch the hell out of it till the end.
Yep. We're the monsters from One Mountain.
Oh, it's alive.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I absolutely love Space Jam. That's my jam right there.
Yeah.
god.
I mean, I'm gonna say right now, it's one of the greatest films of all time. I don't care who says otherwise. I'll punch their lights out.
Yeah, the acting is not great, but it's still one of the better movies of all time.
Yeah,
It's one of those that like if there is extra life out in the stars, that's one of the films that I would want to recommend to
yeah,
for
To
them to watch and
aliens.
experience.
yeah. So hopefully they don't come down and actually challenge us to a basketball game. Expect
Um,
Michael Jordan to be as good as that last point.
well, if they do take like Muggsy Bogues and we got Charles Barkley and all that, I'd rather them take their stuff because I mean they're old, so
Yeah, yeah. Well,
we'd actually have a chance.
yeah, and well,
And if
okay.
Bill
So
Murray
remember
didn't
when they
jump in and
first
play,
started talking about the remake or the sequel? I'm sorry, sequel. And they're like, we're gonna get LeBron James to do this. And I remember people shared this video, and it's like, if they made Space Jam today, and basically it went that LeBron James was like, okay, screw the Looney Tunes, and he goes over and plays with the Monster.
Oh
no,
man. That
I
would
don't
be
think that they should
interesting.
mess with it. They
Yeah,
leave Space Jam alone. Leave it alone.
yeah. I
Don't
mean,
screw it up. It's perfect as is. It's as
yeah.
close to perfection as you're gonna get. Don't mess with it.
But I
Tim
think
Burton
people,
does Space Jam.
I might actually go.
I feel like it would be interesting enough to watch.
But I mean, we're kind
Any
of
Space
living.
Jam thing, I think that I'm willing to. My curiosity tells me that I should watch it, but
But
I
I mean,
can't
otherwise,
honestly.
no.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're kind of living in this age where people can't get it through their damn skulls that you do not remake masterpieces.
Well, no, that is part of the capitalist society. It's like, oh, this made so much money, I'm going to milk this cow until it's dead.
Yeah.
And they don't understand the fact that from, the perspective point of view, you're ruining the entire thing. It's no longer enjoyable.
That
You've
they're
ruined the first
basically going
one
to
for
lose
me.
money.
Yeah, they're going to make more money by leaving perfection alone because people are still going to buy into it. I mean, like for instance, Space Jam. If they screw it up on like round 2, round 3, or whatever, people are not going to buy it 100 years from now. And of course, they don't care because of the fact that, oh, I'm not going to be alive 100 years from now. But the franchise will still be alive.
Yeah, and they probably don't think about that if they participate in this abomination, people are going to go to their grave and literally take a crap on
But
Well,
a giant diarrhea douche.
God.
is that what you do in your free time? You crap on people who have died?
Well, I've thought about. I was going to do it when I was at Westminster Abbey, but there's Oliver Cromwell's stone right there. I thought, maybe I should, but it's like, no, I don't want to get thrown out of this beautiful, gorgeous place.
Yeah.
Oh
But
my
yes,
God.
I mean, if you pointed out, I'm sure there's somebody. There's a list of people I could put together, and yeah, go around the country.
Putting the
It's
Stanley
like,
Steamer on people's graves.
yeah, well, I was gonna say that, and I just thought of this really. It's not a great movie, but it's an okay movie called Flight of the Intruder, and they're on this aircraft carrier, and apparently there's this person going around taking a dump in random places, and they call him the Phantom Shitter, which I think is a reference to George Lucas because the director went to USC with George Lucas.
Oh my God.
I
Well,
hope it is. But yeah,
you could even make a remake of I Spit on Your Grave, but it's called something much different.
I shit on your grave. I will go ahead and write that script. That's actually a good idea.
Okay, we want a reading. We're gonna do a script analysis next episode then, so get on it. Send it
Oh,
out.
okay. Okay,
That's
I'll have
what we're
something to do.
doing next week.
I have something to do at work today.
Woo!
Oh my
Except for be
God.
grumpy.
What?
Except for be grumpy.
Yeah, yeah. Other than that, yeah. Well, I can
Oh.
do that. I'm a multitasker. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, but speaking of Tim Burton and remakes, you probably know where I'm going with this, Dumbo.
Yeah.
Um, honestly, the remake was far superior to the original, I gotta say.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I mentioned this to somebody who had seen it, and they're like, I'm kind of curious what your take is. I mean, I'll watch the movie eventually, probably within the next week, so I can give my thoughts. But they thought that Dumbo's story was pretty much just the first act.
Like, the remake was just the first act
Yeah,
of the
in the
first.
remake, like they took care of telling the story, of Dumbo the elf within the first act.
Um, how did the original end exactly again?
How the original end wasn't he reunited with his mother? I don't remember.
I think Yeah, he was reunited actually early on in the original. Um, Man, I can't remember now. And I just watched it like earlier this year. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, the remake is it's faithful to the original. It's just all around good. I'm not necessarily saying it's better ish. Um, it's just that if you want like a wacky cartoon type thing, the original Dumbo, go for it. But the story and the details and stuff within the remake are the artfulness of the remake, I guess, is what makes it a lot more enjoyable. And we've lost everyone.
What?
Oh, hello.
Who's there? Who's there?
Well, anyway, it's almost
Anyway,
lunchtime, so uh, it's probably a good stopping point, I guess.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
I don't know. We've done our ramble for an hour and almost 2 minutes now, but yeah, next week let's actually do a script breakdown of a parody of "I Spit on Your Grave" titled "I Shit on Your Grave." I'm sure this will really get us a high profile court case even.
Well, keep
Well,
Matthew
if it's
McConaughey
a
in
court
mind when you
case,
write
well,
it.
I mean, does anybody really think? Does anybody even really remember "I Spit on Your Grave"?
I highly doubt it. I've never even seen it. I just know about it because we talked about it in a class dedicated to Tarantino.
Yeah, and obviously, I would be just making fun of the title. The actual story of "I Spit on Your Grave" is just, oh boy,
It's a revenge film, isn't it?
yeah, it's uh, and I don't have a problem with revenge films. It's just it deals with rape, you know, so
Yeah. Well,
that's kind of yeah.
yeah.
Well, here's a suggestion. I mean, you could like make it about like a Walmart being built on an Indian burial ground, and then we can make it about Walmart people who like shit in the aisles.
That's an actual thing, though. I kid you not. Somebody
Oh my
years
god.
ago they were talking about how there was this. I'm not being racist. I'm just giving the details of the story. This Somalian person ahead of them in line dropped their drawers and took a shit
Oh.
right there
Oh.
in the checkout lane. I kid you not.
I believe it.
Yeah,
That's
but
fucked up.
obviously Walmart might have a problem like, oh, people don't shit in Walmart. Well,
People shit in Walmart.
yeah, sometimes not in the toilets.
It's been done.
Yeah.
Well, I know who's not sponsoring us then.
Oh, fuck
Oh, that's
Walmart.
fine for me.
Oh god.
Okay, well, I'll get to work on that.
And
Okay.
on that note, I think it's definitely time to end.
All
Thank you for
right.
joining us this week, and we will be back with something next episode.
We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Wow.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Toodaloo.
Bye. Bye.
Boy. You
Boy.
hang up.
No, you hang up.
No, you hang up.
No, you hang up.